Biden will be in New York City today for a campaign fundraiser. Not on his schedule, though, a meeting with Governor Hochul or Mayor Adams. Of course, this as the city is being crushed by the migrant crisis. Jessica Anderson is president of the Sentinel Action Fund, and Jessica Tarlov is a co-host of The Five, and both Jessicas join us now this morning to get into this. And Jessica, I'll start. Jessica, JT.
I got it. The eye contact.
I'll start with you. Obviously, the president is out there campaigning. He's trying to drum up support. But in the background now, you have this very emotional story, right? This is different than the numbers and the pictures and images we see every single day. I think a lot of folks get desensitized to that. Now you have this very emotional, personal story. And we know immigration is a huge part of this political season. You guys were covering the South Carolina primary over the weekend. If we pull up this graphic here, our voter analysis showed that immigration was a huge issue in this primary, and it has been in every early state. So when the president sits down for this late night TV appearance, should he be using that platform to talk about this?
Well, I doubt that that's going to be the question that's coming to him. Well, it's late night TV. If he was sitting down for a news interview, I'm sure it would be the leading, if not the second story that they would talk about. But it does harken back to what happened when Kate Steinle, the young woman who was murdered in San Francisco by an undocumented man who had been, I think, released and came back 7 times. And there was a bipartisan bill. It got over 10 Democrats that signed on to it. It's still waiting. I get re-upped every year, I think, to pass through the Senate. It came out of the House. But you could see something happening along those lines. You're correct. It has been the number one issue, but those have been Republican primaries and caucuses. Democrats care about it a lot, especially now that it has kind of invaded liberal cities. And I know specifically Mayor Adams has been very outspoken that the Biden administration is not doing enough to help him, especially because we are a sanctuary city. But the president can't do everything that everyone else wants him to do. I think that some comment on it, not necessarily a venue of late night TV, but when he is speaking to the press, talk about it, and then also talk about the bipartisan border deal, which was good enough for Republicans until Donald Trump said, hey, I'd like to campaign on this. And they're saying the quiet part out loud at this point.
It's in the House that passed that bill almost a year ago, coming up here. This is this illegal who's accused of killing this girl in Georgia, crossed in 2022. Mm-hmm. And here is the border is safe commentary from them at that time.
We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration.
We're certainly doing a lot more to secure the border. We have taken unprecedented action over the past year and a half to secure our border.
We have a process in place to manage migrants at the border.
The border is not open. We're doing everything that we can.
Wonder in a general election campaign how many times you're going to see those clips over and over again. Gallup poll, Biden disapproval on immigration. He's at 67% to Jessica 2.0.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for having me. Look, I think story after story. Just 3 weeks ago, we saw a migrant released here in New York, giving the bird and flipping off cameras, just saying, forget the rule of law. I don't need it. These rogue prosecutors are letting me go. There's no deterrence. And so you've got an open border, poorly enforced crime in our major cities. And of course, Biden is upside down when it comes to any issue of safety and security in our neighborhoods or with our families, our schools, anything like that. So he comes to late night. Clearly, they're letting him stay up late enough, right? If he's cognizant enough to do a late night show, he should be doing a primetime address on utilizing his executive authorities. And this is where Jessica 1 and I disagree, because there's over 90 different authorities that the president could be putting into place through executive power to secure the border. You just saw the Biden administration actually confirm that just a week ago, saying they do have the authority. They don't need to wait on Congress. H.R. 2, which the House passed, is a great bill. It cannot get through the Senate right now. So Biden's got to use what he has to secure the border. I say if he can do late night, he can protect the border.
Or at least a sit-down interview. I know you said that the next time he takes questions, he doesn't take a lot of questions, and maybe he needs to here soon. And when he does, sometimes they're pre-selected. I know Axios just had a story about some no cards being used in even closed-door fundraising. Some folks worried about that. So he's out there campaigning. Gavin Newsom was touting Biden's age over the weekend, calling it an asset. Watch this.
It's because of his age that he's been so successful, because of his capacity of understanding, because of his leadership. So the opportunity to express that for 4 more years What a gift it is for the American people. And as a Democrat, what a gift for me to make the case for the leader of our party, Joe Biden.
JT, experience is good, but age is a gift in this situation?
With age comes wisdom. And that's what Gavin Newsom was saying, and relationships that he's built over decades on the Hill. The man works better with Mitch McConnell than any other Democrat that's been around in the last 30 some odd years. That's meaningful, especially with how powerful the other side. On the no card front, everybody uses no cards, and that's part of the gripe that the White House has with the, quote, mainstream press, that they're running a story about that. What is the big deal there? They think that he's actually going to forget his pants or what he's doing in the room. We haven't seen evidence of that actually happening. Gavin Newsom, #1 surrogate for President Biden. He did it.
You want to spin this?
Well, let's just be clear. Everyone might use note cards, but not everyone has pre-selected questions from reporters in the room, being cued on who to ask, a limited number of questions. I mean, the man is completely scripted night up to night down. And so, you know, they put him on late night because it's funny and it's comedy. It's a pivot towards the general election. But he can't talk about the real issues. He can't talk about the border, the economy, crime. And this is going to hurt him in the general election, something that Republicans need to take full advantage of.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Let's
you.
see if he debates.
Yep, good to have you
Thank
both
you.
on. All right,
Thanks for having
Jessica
us. Yeah.
1 and Jessica 2.